Hey guys, how are you doing? Market Sniper coming at you, and we are talking about, yes, wait for it, the try. At the moment, I've got the Euro try up here that I'm showing you. A couple of draws that I was just giving you a little peek preview into there in terms of HVF method, the Hunt Volatility Funnel method. And that is how and why we have positioned so dominantly towards the failure of the Turkish Lira against the other currencies. Incidentally, you can even trade this and earn Bitcoin on certain platforms as well. So in essence, accumulating Bitcoin as your P&L instead of dollars or euros. Anyway, that's a bit of a by the by. If you ask me currently what's the trade of the moment, it would probably be long with the Bitcoin dominance for now, period. On an investment medium term, Bitcoin probably deserves a little bit of a pullback and a break, but it would probably be Bitcoin long, try short. As I say, I wouldn't put that on necessarily right this second. I think Bitcoin might have a little bit of an easing, but certainly anything long versus try as the short is going to be very, very rewarding. And after we get through maybe a little bit of easing on Bitcoin, once again back on there, that's probably going to be your best trade overall. Anyway, so that's the Euro try that we've been discussing. Now, I want to just highlight something about this. This is our history with talking on the try. And the Lira, we've generally always been a net long on repeated. Since 2013 was my first beginning of HVF trading on the Lira. And on this one, having been inaccurate on an Ethereum short trade, I can tell you that we've had 7 trades and we've been accurate on every single one. And only one was a short, and that was after a huge blow-off moment. In fact, you can see it's still here on that video. That was the short we took over there. Roughly. That's a little bit small for anyone to do meaningfully, but we have covered the try at great detail extensively here on this channel. If you search try on the Market Sniper, and this is all the way up, that was for 5. Look at how many 2 years ago that video, that was when we were saying it's going to run through the 5 level. My first actual trades when try was actually around the 1.3 level in 2013. Difficult to believe now. The magic, you can't stop genius at work, was one of our upside HVFs that we traded. That was also 2 years ago. That's what Erdogan has brought, and the whole all fall down agenda for the Turkish Lira. And we've traded it dollar and euro try. And when I say we traded it, generally we've held pretty long. Recently I closed and then reopened, and then I reopened with more euro bias than dollar bias. But this has been, if I were to describe, since 2013, it's been one of the most consistently available mega milking cows. You get regular setups. And this macro HVF that is on both the euro try and the US dollar try is probably about to go very soon into what I describe as the parabolic phase. In actual fact, we've done exceedingly well on it, but the real rainmaker money that just gets ridiculous comes in these blow-off type events that you saw over here. But there's a catch and there's a problem. How do you chase? Let's do it in our TG pink so it shows up nice and strong. There she goes. That is a real blow-off event. And you can see actually that was one of the last HVS we were warning people of as potential. You would have been in it sooner if you're a member of our community. But there she goes. And look at that blow-off. Look at that blow-off. Wow. I've actually hidden the candles there. Let me draw that TG pink box. Ooh, don't say that too often in public anyway. Yeah, give me the colors I want. This is what happens when you start mixing and matching. I'll have drawn the LGBTQ flag here all over this chart by the time I'm done. Anyway, so that's a proper blow off move. So you're going to run all the way from 5.4 and this tapped out roundabout absolute high. Do try a little quick rememberings 8.1s. This is against the euro, don't forget. So this is not the USD try. So I have positions on both, but I've also brought various of them in because we've had dollar weakness against the euro, we've had euro weakness against the dollar. All have played out during this period. And we've kept our community saying you want to be net long this trade. There's a carry cost, it's important to remember, but the key aspect here is we're in a parabolic potential move coming. So there was the squeezy Japanesey. There was a nice little wind up, plenty of opportunities to get in. Now, without instruction, how do you get into a trade that's largely melting up? Where do you put your stops in? That's kind of real tricky, and you have to learn, and that's a little bit about what we do, because not all our members have come in during this period over here. Maybe not all of them managed to get the trade on. Maybe they didn't have the size or the means, or they want to get into it later. And we are pre-parabola, but within that, it's also done quite a bit. If you're looking at this is a daily chart. In the last few days, you could get in there and call the top and it could smash down. How do you work your way into a trade that you should be in? These are skill sets that you need to think about and develop. And we've spoken on the Reset channel. It's all doom and gloom. The psychopaths are coming for us. We've spoken about the key value of wealth building and the dominoes that will fall. And FX emergings is one of the most critical areas. You've seen Indian rupee, Brazilian real. Lira is the best game in town because most of you can get brokerage to trade that. In actual fact, I consider myself very lucky and blessed to still be able to get my hands on it and get trades on it, because I've set such a low bar of expectations of the control structures of this world that I anticipate that they would, stop the serfs from making any money. And I'm pretty glad that we can still get in on this trade and still be working it and milking it like the cash cow it is. And in the traditional markets right now, I would say the failure of the Turkish Lira has been the consistent, strongest meme for us, along with the gold and silver macro bull. And I would say the Lira, in terms of longevity, as I say, from 2013, we only took a single short once, and that was after the blow off high and the rebound over there. And then we got some positive carry and we took a little bit of this down leg. Otherwise, we've been net long, and it's still the trade. And this is now potentially going to go at some point in overperformance mode. And that's when you get candles that are this kind of long, which is huge, leading out of that. These are very events driven. There'll be all sorts of drama. You'll be reading about it in the news then. You've already had an earthquake, natural event, possibly, probably, but other things that will be less nature orientated and more driven by leadership, attempted coups, various other melodramas that do go on in Turkey. Very much the home of the Sabbatean Frankist cult, which are embedded and Trojanized inside Islam. Watch out for that. Go watch Reset Sniper. That's other things. I don't want to stray into that topic. But the blow-off potential is maybe not very far away. And for those of you that think, well, so what? I'm kind of too late. Let me just point out that at this point over here, you were down in 5s. By the time it ended, you're in 8s. Now, think about that at a currency level. If you pick up 3 or 2.5 even on something that is 5, let's say you're picking up 2.7, 2.75 on something that is upper 5s, you're very close to getting a 50% move in just that late blow-off period. So overall, this particular structure, I can tell you, has already made our target, but it was our intention all along not to close the trade at target, because it is of such a scaled pattern and it is such a powerful theme that overperformance is virtually assured. And the only time you know that the overperformance is truly on hand is when you get the absolute melt up. Everybody is just in on the short trade and it's mainstream news. That's when you probably want to take off. We have a method technically for doing that. And you'll learn all about it if you choose to do a self-study or jump into the community. You can depend hit the link below, book a call. There's absolutely no obligation, and talk to one of our trader community members who are exactly where you were. We don't hire salespeople. Our members are the people you speak to, and you'll see them on the boards, and they're traders, and they really trade. Okay. In fact, we really trade. On that point, I actually got out and got back in quite recently, but I mean, for those that want to say, oh, you know, you weren't right on that Ethereum trade, we're going to be wrong often, and we know also where we've consistently been accurate. It's not about how many times you're right or how many times you're wrong. If you trade a very high reward system, you actually should be wrong quite often and right quite rarely, and you can still make an immense amount of money. And we prefer that. We prefer real, fast-moving, long-term mega breakouts. And those don't happen every day. The Lira is one of them. On this, for example, I've transitioned after I closed the last set when I was expecting a rest, and reopened and nibbled my way in. I was actually heavier on the euro because we were expecting the dollar to show a bit of weakness, which it has done against the euro. But we've also begun adding USD tries. And you can see from the positioning here, this is what it's brought in. You know, 150 grand, 147 there, odd. I can tell you now it's higher on the euro try, and on the dollar try around 40. We're in the past the 41s now at the moment as well on the USD try, and we've yet to potentially have that parabolic moment. These can turn out into rainmaker trades. It's not impossible for, you know, the euro try to end up delivering £500,000, and the current sizing with no nibbling you know, could get you up to 150 in terms of if we were to have a parabolic move and see the 11. You can't count chickens before they hatch in this game, and nothing is always straightforward, but we've already had a couple of pushback dips, and I can tell you there's very little appetite for the Lira. Note over here, if we just have a closer look, we're on the daily, but on shorter time frame charts, there's been some, you know, you get tested, and this is where your mentality, your money management, and the skill sets of how you should be entering come out. You can see these pullbacks. There were a couple in there. It was a smaller one in there. You could be just too damn unlucky, especially if you get FOMO and you're chasing in round about here, for example. Who knows, might go quite a bit further up and then pull right the way back down. That was actually good continuation structure, it has to be said. If we have a look at it on a slightly smaller time frame, which we will do, nice, and we teach you about why that is. It's not quite a flag, there's something else going on in there, but yeah, very good. And you get often regular continuation structures on the way up. So this is the power of what you can do. These are the times now we're building real wealth, getting off grid, not having anything where the bank owns you and has debt on you. Get them out of your lives. They're probably going to fail. Have your resources and your profits in places where they are not subject to counterparty risk, which means dispersing into the blockchain, silver and gold physically, various other things. But these are the, these are the times, and this is one of our rainmaker pairs. And we've never shied from this. We were into it from 2013 when we had one of the biggest structures ever on a FX chart, which spanned multiple years, and it's just been non-stop from there. Boom, boom, setup after setup. And apart from one short, as I say, all of the time they buy us long. Are you in? Are you getting almost one of the easiest trades that you can, providing your entries are good and you know how to work your way into something that is already in a very strong move? Should you be chasing in now? Actually, if you don't understand money management, no. If you do, and you know that we don't encourage market orders and how you should enter, you could start to get an idea and feel of how to finesse your way in, and you could still catch the parabolic move. This parabolic move, it wouldn't be extreme to see, and we're on the euro try. Be clear here, it's not the USD try, but I'm expecting much the same there. The moderate differences that the euro to the dollar strength has had is not going to change the fact that this will go parabolic on both charts to varying degrees. This is a failure. You're bearing down on 10, by the way, for the euro. So the big 10 is going to fall for the euro. That's double digits now. The Turkish Lira is wanting to become a rand, and it's doing a pretty good job of getting there. And by the time you've gone parabola, it's quite possible you could have gone through 12s, 12 and a halves, and even possibly go through the 13s. Remember, in the previous event, you went through mid upper fives and ended up in lower half eights, which we've calculated at about a 50%. And I would argue the Great Reset melt-ups are going to be larger. This is a bigger structured pattern that we've been watching. We've been excited. We've been tracking this thing for years in setup. When was that last blow off high? It was in September of 18. We said it'll set up again, and so it did, and it ceased to be an interesting trade for a while it gestated all the way through till the 20s, and then we were really heavily leaning on it from the lockdown and everything that's gone down. And as I say, it is no different for the dollar try. How do you like them apples? Yes, you had a little bit of a peg period. Well, that wasn't money well spent, was it? Holding a ceiling on the USD try. We can spot that, and then suddenly you get your gap up, you push up your return move, and then it's rumpy pumpy to the moon. The lira is taking a battering and a banging. So you can expect more of that. I wouldn't surprise me to see even the dollar on the parabola going through 10 through and possibly ending at 12. If you do a 50% just from your parabola point, where we probably started round about here at the 8. They had that sell-off there, and that's when I closed a little bit. I didn't like that. I thought it might have a longer move, and then had to start getting back in from here and working, but rebuilding a position. And I would say to you, it wouldn't shock me to see a further 50% from 8. That would take you through 12. And if, as I say, this is the beginning of the end of FX emergence failing generally against the broader, you could then roll into a global emerging crisis that will just see the things get absolutely silly. It could go 20 against the euro and 15, 17 against the dollar. And if you're holding that position long, it would be delightful. I can tell you that most of what I've just shown you on the P&L blotters, that's a 10x on what you are seeing in there very, very quickly on all positions without changing any of the sizing. So that's what's potentially possible. And, this is reset. This is reset. For the guys say, when do you think reset will happen? All the key questions that smart traders don't ask that newbie and intermediates do. One of the most common ones is, when do you think reset will happen? As if I'm going to pick up my calendar and go, let me just check that calendar for you. Yeah, it's going to be 11/14 on the 27th of March 2021. No, it's not a single point event. It's happening right now. It's happening in front of you. You're busy witnessing it and you're not profiting from it. When you're going to do something about it, because they're going to kill your job. That's what they come in and do, guys. I'm not going to go full reset sniper on you. If you want to know more about that and the forthcoming Bolshevism, for sure, you need to have ammo. You need to have ammo. And I'm not talking about bullets, although you can have that as well. It's not a bad idea. I'm talking about financial ammo. You need to be packing ammo to carry you through the period that they bring, because things are going to escalate that you never imagined would happen. And trading is something you can do from anywhere. It's not necessarily for everybody. You've got to own your own outcomes. It isn't always big, easy. This is one of the most wealth producing pairs in the traditional markets that I know. And the Turkish Lira should be exploited by you almost as a fait accompli if you have any inclination towards becoming a trader. And it is simple money collection. I mean, those other positions, they were rebuilt from here, in and around here, and I was drip feeding it in, and we'll talk to you more if you want to learn about it here. This is a very small part of the move that P&L I showed you have actually got. And you know, you've missed this, and even still there's loads to still be collected, because this is such a vast pattern, and it is such a vast economic event that is going to bring down these second tier massive economies, 18 million people in Turkey, plus you've got North Cyprus, and they build stuff, they work hard, they're not all fools, but you know, they've got the government they've got, and they've got the debt that they've got, and Spanish banks are sitting full of Turkish debt. So this is dominoes falling. Anyway, I've done a bit of technical analysis. I'm telling you the trades you should be in. I'm highlighting that we've continued to cover it. If you're one of the guys that go, yeah, but you're wrong on Ethereum short or whatever, and you're from the crypto, we're going to be wrong on lots of things. This is one I don't expect to be wrong on very often, but I never suffer certainty from certainty. But in our technical view, right back here, we've said you're going to have an exceptional upside move which will deliver over performance. That was being said during this period by us in our community, and we even let some of that go out onto YouTube's freebie once our guys had loaded up. So, you know, it shouldn't be an open secret. Watch Brent Johnson, he'll give you more of the fundamentals about what's going on in Turkey. This thing goes parabolic. Dollar exchange to the lira can go double digit, and if it goes combined with all the things that we expect are coming for our collapse of our society, trust me, you will have a rainmaker trade on your hand. And this is reset trading. Anyway, we have a community set up for wealth building for exactly these times, and we have the strong trades, the medium strong ones, and sometimes where we're going to be wrong ones. But I can tell you we will be biased long on cryptos generally. We're currently Bitcoin dominant. We're going to be biased long gold and silver. And we have calls that we're making again and how to play gold and silver after its big initial move. We think it's in continuation. You can watch for those videos when they come. If you want to become part of a wealth building community in reset times, here's the place to be. And if you don't, take it from me. This is my take on the lira, and it only gets worse from here. Can you have a pullback? Could you end up buying the top? You absolutely could. You could have a pullback that retraces 50% of this. You could even have one that's this initial impulsive move and more. So how do you build your size in this environment? Well, it takes patience and skill sets, and not FOMO. That I can give you. Anyway, like and share. We appreciate that. That's the only currency. There's no ads on this channel. Get yourself a coffee mug or a t-shirt if you want. But it's totally optional, of course. And look forward to updating you further on the FX emergings collapse. And there are other emergings, but focus on this one. This is currently the best game in town. And we will be watching and discussing the others in our premium community area. Bye for now, and thanks for watching.